Hey there, my name's Joel. This is the Traveler Toolkit, and in today's video, we're going to be testing out the AdventureMate V3 Mega Multi-Tool for camping adventure and survival. We're going to be doing things like splitting wood, just like that, digging holes, sawing off tree branches, digging trenches, and so much more. So stick around for this video as we test out the AdventureMate so you can see if it's something that might enhance your outdoor adventures. All right, so this is the case that comes with the AdventureMate. You see, we've got kind of like a waterproof vinyl, some kind of material, I'm not sure what it is, waterproof zipper. You do have a handle here on the top, and on the back, we have this mounting plate that looks like it would help you mount this on a molly board on some kind of overlanding setup, or if you had a pegboard system, you could use these attachment points, these loops down here to do that. Pretty cool idea. If you look down here, we also have some really nice zipper pulls. There we go. And everything's going to stay nice and protected inside here from corrosion and water and all that stuff. But this is high-grade material, so you don't need to baby it. So let's open it up here and take a look at what we have together. So on the right side, you're going to see this is our main tool, and then on the left we have our shovel tool. I do have a ferro rod that they sent along inside here. This is not included in the kit, but they do sell these, and we haven't tested it out yet, but it's always good to have a ferro rod with these multi-tool setups in case you are in a survival situation. So pretty cool little case. I'll set that aside. Inside, you have a field kit that explains everything you're going to get. 6 in 1. So inside you're going to have nice hardy straps. See how hard that was to get off? And some really well thought out storage components. So here's a good look at your axe, and this contains most of the tools in it. You do have a nice soft rubber tip protector for your axe. I'm going to give you a closer look at this in hand in just a second, but you'll see it just kind of attaches back in here and clips up. Then you strap down over here. Same thing on the shovel side. You just pull those two straps, your shovel comes out. You've got your adjustment point down here, your pin that you can pull, turn it into a trenching tool. We'll do that in just a second. But when you're done, slides back up, straps back in. This area here is for extra blades, saw blades. You can buy those as a replacement. It's inside the handle, the one that is mounted. And then over here, you do have a mesh pocket as well. But now let's get this tool up out of the case and start going over how this locking mechanism works and all the pieces that come with it. All right, outside of the case, you can see just how hardy and sturdy this axe is, and I don't think it would be accurate to call this a hatchet. This is an axe head. It's a splitting head, much different than a hatchet, and it is really substantial in your hand. It's got a nice rubber grip down here, hole at the bottom of the grip with some contour. We have the AdventureMate logo on the bottom, and I believe this entire handle is aluminum. Here, the axe head is steel, so we've got steel and aluminum together, brushed aluminum, colored aluminum, powder coated, really, really well made. I mean, when you hold this, you think this is a well-made tool. And the secret to this tool is this locking mechanism that runs across the front, and that's going to enable us to get into all the different tools that the AdventureMate has to offer. But before we get into that, let's get out there and test out the axe, because for me, this is the primary use of this multi-tool. And just so you know, this is not a paid review. I actually found the AdventureMate on my own, reached out to the company and asked them if they would send one for me to look at, and they were kind enough to not only do that, but they put together a special discount code for my viewers only. Use Toolkit15 to get $15 off your AdventureMate V3 if you decide to purchase one. Links in the description. All right, I've got some logs to test here. Not large logs, but I thought it'd be a good place to start with the axe. And we're going to set them up here and just see how well these split, because even though these are small logs, logs like this are hard to burn. So you need to split them up so you can actually get them going in a fire. So let's go. You ready? Ha ha ha! I was kind of unsure of how well it would split. There we go. Perfect. This one's lopsided. Nice. All right, just cleaning up our area a little bit. So we've been hard at work for the last 10-15 minutes splitting with this. And I've got to say, overall, it's a good splitting experience. These are pretty small logs, though. I do notice that there is a little bit of movement in this head. I don't know if that's even worth mentioning. It's negligible. It's not something you would really feel, but you do kind of hear it when you're hitting it. Not something I would be concerned about. It's just something that is the nature of having a removable head instead of a fixed head. But overall, it's split really well. I thought it'd be fun to try to split something a little bit bigger. This is almost as big as our base log. You can see, good and sharp, it'll sink itself into the log really nicely. But can we break up something this size? That would be really useful in a camping scenario. Let's go. So if you start on the edges and work your way around, you can get at these larger logs. Not really that hard. There we go. There we go, that's a better split. Yeah, and you'll notice, even with the clip on the side, it has no trouble going through the center of these logs. I really don't have a lot to complain about. Yep. All right, well, our modest little pile of firewood tells me that the Adventure Mate is a pretty good axe. It does what we asked it to do, and that is split up our firewood, some bigger logs, some smaller logs. Overall, I'm gonna give it a passing grade on the axe, especially for something that's a multi-tool. I wish it had a little bit longer handle, but in a travel scenario, you don't want something too long, but did a pretty good job. Now, let's check out the internal saw that is hiding inside this handle. I also want to point out that the butt end of this axe has these kind of hash marks on it, and it is wide enough to be used as a hammer. So whether you're hammering in tent pegs or wood pegs, something more substantial, this is meant to be used as a hammer, and certainly as one of the main purposes and uses of this multi-tool. So now let's go ahead and talk about the secondary use in this handle, and that is the saw. So if we unlock this clip by simply moving this up, see here, we cannot lift, but if we lift here, you see our green mark goes away. We can lift this orange portion. Look at that action. It's really satisfying. Feels really nice. Hold that up and the whole top comes out, see? Slides out, and inside we have our saw blade. Now before I show you that, I do want to show you the makeup of the handle. You'll see there's the end of the handle, there is a slot, a notch. Let me just go ahead and stick this back in here so you can see how this works. See, it's sliding in there. That's the key, locks into place. So when we flip it upside down, then we have the ability to take this and stick it back through. We got to go the right way. There we go. Stick it back through and lock it into place here. So now we have our saw. Let me take the cover off the blade. Ha ha ha. We have our very, very sharp saw on this other side. And because of this setup, it is really sturdy because you can get both hands down here. Both hands to support this saw. I would say this is probably a 12-inch saw here, and there it is replaceable. You can take that little screw out there and replace this blades. They sell these, but yeah, unlock, pull out, flip over, and you can put this saw away. Obviously, you want to put your cover back on there before you store it so you don't dull your blade. And you know, all this talk of multi-tools has got me thinking there's one tool I take with me on every single trip, and that is our channel sponsor, eTrailer. Whether you need RV and camping or outdoor gear, they have you covered, and I've been using them for over a decade, long before they were ever sponsors of this channel. You can get tents, you can get fire pits, you can get parts for your RV, hitches to take with you. You can even buy kayaks, canoes, and trailers for all of those things. If you're like me and you love every form of the outdoors, then eTrailer has to be your go-to
source for all those things. Skip the other websites with their bad support, their bad return policies. eTrailer is there for you, and I can attest to the fact that they have great support and great training. A lot of eTrailer videos will help you and walk you through installation if you're a DIYer like me, using something that you bought on the website. They are super handy to have around. So I'll leave a link in the description down below. If you're gearing up for your next trip, go check out eTrailer. You won't be sorry that you did. So it's spring and I've got a lot of trails to clear. So let's get the Adventure Mate out there and see how this saw does in the real world. I think this is a good place to start. I've got a lot of dead branches around here, but this is going to show that you could both take limbs off of the trees like this that you want to use for firewood that are dead, or you can chop up some down limbs to kind of smaller kindling size. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Adventure Mate and flip it around. There we go. Lock it in, take off my saw cover, get to it. Oh, that cuts easily. Nice. Wow. Because of the weight of the handle, it doesn't take much effort to cut this. I'm going to flip you around here so you can see it up close. This is a big one. Timber! So after a handful of cuts, let me give you some feedback. This blade is really good. It's a good length. It's really sharp. They've done a nice job putting this together, engineering it. The comfort using this handle with the pull blade, it kind of cuts more on the pull, so that's good. You can see it's just a little bit arched here to kind of promote that cut down as you're pulling it back. You do have some play, just like the axe head. There's a little bit of play in this. I don't think that's a bad thing. It's locked in place, not going anywhere, but you do have a little bit of play. That's the nature of a multi-tool that switches out versus a fixed tool. So just keep that in mind. We'll cut some more. So far, the performance on big logs, small twigs, attached to the tree laying on the ground, all really good. And this is a pretty sizable dead tree. It's probably 10 to 12 feet tall, something you could cut down for nice dry firewood if you were camping or in a survival situation. So let's go through the main trunk of this tree with the saw and see if it can go all the way through. The blade's longer, so I think we got it. Feels pretty good so far. There we go. Boom goes the dynamite. Putting in a lot more work for today's video than normal, so if you appreciate that, leave me a comment down below. After doing quite a few cuts on different lengths and styles of branches, on the tree, off the tree, on the ground, thick, dead, alive, all of that stuff, I can say this is a really capable saw. I like the flexibility in it. There's a lot of times when you're back and forth with it where you kind of get a little squirrely, but that's good in a blade. You've got some flexibility that allows you to get into corners corners, around things, and overall this is great for clearing trails. It would be great for taking dead long branches and turning them into firewood. And one other thing before we put the main portion of this away is this little hook here. Now, I don't have a specific need for this hook right away. I know they show on the website, they show like picking up pots and pans out of a fire with it. You could use it as a bottle opener. It is something that I think would be remarkably handy when you need it, but it's just a little add-on to the tool that doesn't get in the way when you don't need it. So this hook right here is good to leverage in scenarios when hooks are necessary, but not something we're really going to test today because it's just a hook slash bottle opener and it's just kind of there. I'm really pleased with the axe and the saw so far. Now let's get into the other side of things, and we're going to get out the shovel head that comes with the tool. So you can see it's sideways, not oriented like this. It is oriented to the side, slides in like this. We'll show it to you from a couple different angles. You can see there's a split inside here. This is going to go in here and lock in like this all the way in, down, and lock. Got our little green dot there, and it locks in the shovel. And because of the way it is, it's actually taking advantage of the contour of the handle for the shovel portion as you're using it. So there's a good look at the shovel. Unlike a lot of survival shovels that I've seen before, this is not a super mini useless size shovel. This has a good size to it here. And you'll notice this hinge point because this pin, this removable pin, is going to allow us to do several different things with this shovel. But first, let's test this out as a shovel. Then we'll talk about what this pin does and how we can turn this shovel into a trenching tool. Okay, we're at one of the more beautiful spots on our property right next to our babbling creek where we're going to test out the shovel and the trenching tool on this AMV3. Now, I've got some sand here. We're going to start here just so I can give you a good idea of how this form factor and size works on the shovel. I don't have any illusions that I'm going to be doing construction projects with this, but it's more for moving some ground around a campsite. Maybe you're burying a certain smelly something, just some basic shovel activities, and this should give us an idea of how the form factor works if the length and the size of the shovel is good. Oh, okay. So, I mean, first off, that length is more comfortable than I thought. You're able to grab a significant amount of dirt at once. That's nice. Compared to other adventure shovels I've used before, tiny little scoops, this is a substantial amount. And because you have the thick part up here on your hand, you've got a great place to grab and stabilize. And this is actually pretty good for the length, nice and comfortable. All right, now if you're in need of a trenching tool and want to turn this shovel head over, they have included this removable pin here. You simply press this orange button in here, see that? And it will open it up and allow you to pull this out. And you stick the shovel back in the handle like this. And you want to make sure that you insert this pin back into the side with the dimple. See, on the other side there is no dimple. That allows the pin to recess into that hole. Just play it back in here, recess, and it allows this to come through and lock out. See, now I can't push that pin back through, but if we put it in this direction, it would be loose. And so there you have it, a trenching tool that you can use just like you had your shovel, but now you're at a 90-degree angle and can pull a lot of dirt with the tool this way. Let's go test it out. I want to move on to some different types of dirt, but before we do, I want to try out the trencher in this area. Just flip this around here because this is an area I could see you using a trencher if you're trying to divert water flow to a specific place, like maybe a specific spot in your campground. This could be really handy. So let's try this out. Huh, that's pretty interesting. So I gotta say, not something I thought I would ever need or really use, but now that I've had one and used it, I'm thinking of all the different ways I could use this in a survival / camping scenario. That is pretty cool. And since most people would consider sandy soil to be a soft test, let's go ahead and dig a hole right here in this regular dirt so we can see how the shovel works. Now that we know the form factor is pretty comfortable and it's a nice size shovel. Oh, there we go. To be fair, the dirt is still pretty soft. Got some roots, no problem. Whew, that's quite a bit of work. Now, because of the length of the shovel, it'd be harder to go much deeper than that. We are getting to the point where your hand is down below the ground when you're digging down in, but pretty deep hole for anything you're gonna need to do while you're camping. This is going to be decent. You could do this many times over. It's a pretty capable shovel, I gotta say. Probably the most capable of any multi-tool survival set that I've ever used. And I like the size of the shovel, the spade itself, and just the general comfort and usability. It's ergonomic, easy to hold. It's thick in the places you need it to be thick. And this back handle is pretty capable as well. I just fill it back in for good measure. Well, we've tested pretty much everything there is to test on the AMV3. The only things we really didn't test is the hook, which I think, what are we gonna test there? It's a hook. It either exists or it doesn't exist. The other thing is the hammer on the back here. We didn't really test that because it's also just a hammer. So knowing those two things are there, but we did test the axe, we tested the saw, we tested the shovel, and we tested the trenching tool. So 4 out of the 6, the other 2, I believe you can fill in the blanks because they just kind of do what they're gonna do. But I've got to say, I'm excited to have this with me this summer in my adventures. I mean, I imagine myself using this as a fire poker, a log splitter, you know, a cooking tool, all these different things, and I'm really impressed with it. So if you're interested in it, again, this is not a sponsored video, but we do have a discount code for you. Toolkit 15 gets you $15 off your very own Adventure Mate Super Multi-Tool. This is something I can wholeheartedly recommend. Probably the best multi-tool for survival, camping, outdoor adventure that I have tested yet. So that's high marks. Check it out for yourself. I'll leave a link in the description. As always, my name is Joel. This is the Traveler Toolkit. Get out there, and I'll see you in the next video.